Hey everyone, Coach Mark here. I hope you guys have had a wonderful start to your new year. I know you guys are holding on to your resolutions. I know you guys are doing exactly what it is that you need to do so you can continue on and accomplish everything that you want to accomplish this year. You're not going to be a part of the group of people that don't accomplish their resolutions, right? This is going to be your year. You're going to do it. I believe in you 100%. Anyway, this week, I want to share with you some key lessons that I've learned from this film producer named Robert Rodriguez. I read about him in a book called Tools of Titans, phenomenal book by Timothy Ferriss, where he shares all the tips and techniques of all the people that he's interviewed in his podcast. And if you guys have not checked out Timothy Ferriss's podcast, definitely check it out. It's some really, really, really great people that he's interviewed, some really, really great information. I mean, probably one of the best books that I've read in a good little while. Just general books overall where I learned a whole lot. It's a long read, but trust me, it's worth it. You know, it's a really, really good book. It's not even really a long read. It's a big book, but it's broken down into so many different chapters because he just shares all the lessons that he learned from so many different people. Anyway, one of the people that he interviewed was Robert Rodriguez, and I wanted to share a little bit with you from that interview. I talk about him in my power and a half hour call this week. So definitely, if you get an opportunity, if you haven't listened to that, go back and re-listen to that. I drop a lot of jewels that Mr. Rodriguez shares with us, through the interview and whatnot. But I just want to break down a couple little things that he said that I really feel that would be of benefit to everyone to begin the year with, and really, really, if we can embody these techniques and tips that he's given us, we can really use them to make 2017 an absolutely phenomenal year. Now, one of the things that I want to show you is that Robert Rodriguez made his first film with $7,000, okay? He didn't even have the $7,000 to make the film. What he did was he took part in all these medical research studies because he wanted to make the film. He didn't have the money that he needed. So he said, you know what? They have all these, he was going to the University of Texas at Austin, and they had all these medical research studies where, they pay people X amount of dollars to come in and take these drugs or do whatever research study. And that's how he put together his first sum of money to make his first film. And he ended up saving up $7,000 and did the film called El Mariachi. Well, it wasn't even his intention for this film to really just get out there and become a huge film or anything like that. He was just kind of doing it just to be with the test to see what it was that he can do. And the film went on to win a award at the Sundance Film Festival, and it's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the lowest budget film to make over $1 million. Actually, the film went on to make $2 million. This is a $7,000 film. And it's just such a testament that a lot of times that we think that we need a lot of money, we need a lot of resources to go ahead and get started and to do what it is that we do. And the smart people, the people that just make up in their mind that they're going to do it, they just take stock of what it is that they have and they just work with what they have. And that's one of the tips that I learned from him that he talks about in the interview, which is, listen, take stock of what it is that you have and work with that, and whatever it is that you're trying to do, just do it with what you have. What he did when he was making a film, and this is how he was able to make the film for $7,000. He sat back and made a list of everything, all the resources that he had, right? Let's say he had a friend that had a truck. Guess what? The truck was going to be in the movie. He had a friend that had a ranch. He knew that the ranch was going to be in the movie, right? He even said that he had a friend that had a turtle. So he put the turtle in the movie just so that it would look like he had animal handlers and they had a bigger budget than actually what they actually had, right? So he just sat down, made a list of all the resources that he had, not just himself had, but like all his friends and his family and whoever else. And he combined all those resources and he made a movie with all the resources that he had available to him. And that's how he was able to make a $7,000 movie that looked like it cost a whole lot more. A lot of times we have so many resources that are available to us that we are not taking advantage of. Many of us want to start businesses. Many of us want to do all different sorts of things, and we're not taking advantage of all the resources that we have. That's why they're there. They're there for us to use, to take advantage of them, right? Instead of complaining about we don't have enough money or we don't have this and that or whatever, sit down and write down all the resources that you need to do exactly whatever it is that you want to do, and then just do it. Figure out how you can utilize every resource that you have to be able to accomplish whatever the goal is that you want to accomplish. All right. The next thing that I learned from him, and this is just gold, right? This is just gold. And it's just to think bigger. You know, one of the things that he wanted to do was he always wanted to get into TV. And he thought to himself, how can I get into TV? And the thing that came to his mind was to buy a TV network. Now, most people aren't even thinking like that. Most people say, okay, you know what? Let me put together a show and pitch it to NBC. But here's his thinking. And this is why he's been able to go on and accomplish whatever it is that he's accomplished so many things, had so many big movies, and he's just able to do whatever it is that he wants to do. This is what Mr. Rodriguez thought about. He said, listen, I want to get on TV. And there's probably about 20,000 other people that's trying to get their show on TV, on NBC, on Friday or Saturday night at 7 p.m. The competition for that is huge. There's probably about 20,000 people that are trying to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Why don't I just try to buy my own network? And that's exactly what it was that he did. Because he said, how many people are trying to buy a network? How many people are trying to run a network? Probably none. Probably none. So when an opportunity came up for him to get a network, right, he thought to himself, okay, how many people are actually trying to get this network, right? And I guess there was probably about 100 people trying to get the network. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. But what he said to himself is that, okay, there's 100 people that are trying to get this network here in the United States. That's really not a whole lot when you consider that the population of the United States is over 300 million, right? 100, that's not even a drop of sand, right? And how many of those people are actually in a position or actually have a good game plan to be able to get the network? Out of the 100, maybe 5. So now his competition goes down from 20,000 people trying to get on a network to he's only competing with 5 people. He's only competing with 5 people. And in turn, he ends up getting the station. He ends up getting a network. And his network is called El Rey. It's in over 40 million homes, right? 40 million homes. And how did that come about? Just by him thinking bigger than what other people, because most people would stop. Most people wouldn't even do what it is necessary to get a show on NBC, right? Everybody talks about they want to get a show, or I know so many people that create movies or create films and they want to get a show, but they never ever take the risk to even try to get on the NBC. But he said, you know what? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for my own network. He's thinking bigger than everyone else. Because guess what? On that bigger level, because everybody's so afraid, no one is even thinking on that. No one is even trying to do that. So the competition there is just so slim. So I challenge all of you, right? Think bigger this year. Don't just go for what everybody else is going for, because, you know, and one of the examples that he says that if you're trying to go through a door and everybody's trying to go through the door, that's just not the door that you need to go through, because everybody's trying to get through that door. And guess what? That door, that opening isn't big enough for everyone to go through, right? So you need to figure out, okay, what door can I go through that isn't as crowded? And I can tell you, anything below that door is going to be crowded, because most people are afraid to take risks. Most people are afraid to dream, to think bigger, right? But it's less crowded along the bigger route. So I want you to to really just think about what it is that you want to do and just stretch and expand your goals this year. And I guarantee you probably have less competition in accomplishing those goals because most people aren't even thinking like that. All right. So remember this, think bigger. Whatever your goals are, stretch them, expand them, multiply them, and just think bigger, because guess what? It's probably be easier for you to accomplish because most people aren't thinking like that. Most people just want the easiest way to get through. And that's why it's always crowded along that route. All right. Thank you much. And until next week.